Welcome to the CA Ops MVS Event Management and Automation 14.0 New Feature video series. This video will cover the Mainframe Team Center automation enhancements to update the Ops MVS rule status and auto-enable setting. In this video, we will cover the following topics: an overview of the business need and solution for the new MTC-A feature for updating Ops MVS rule status and auto-enable setting, the prerequisites for implementing this new feature, the task required for getting this feature operational, and finally, a summary of what we covered about this feature. This section gives an overview of the MTC-A update rule status and auto-enable setting. What is the business need for this feature? Today's Ops MVS users have to switch between systems to update the status or the auto-enable setting of a rule. They want the ability to set the rule status and auto-enable setting across their Opsplex from a single application. The solution is that this feature allows you to update the rule status to enabled or disabled immediately for any system from MTC-A. It also allows users to update the auto-enabled setting to yes or no for any system. This determines whether a rule is enabled automatically when Ops MVS starts. The benefit is that you can now make these changes across your Opsplex without having to change windows. This section lists the prerequisites for adding the ability to update rule status and auto-enable setting. This feature is only available with Ops MVS 14.0 and requires the following PTFs: LU01211 and LU01212. This feature also requires the following PTF from CA Common Services for ZOS, Release 15.0, LU01507. This section discusses how to get this feature operational. The Rule Allow Updates parameter and the Rules section of MTC-A's conf.yaml file is the first definition required in activating the rule status and auto-enabled feature. Users also have to be given update access to the SAF resource extSecPrefix.opsaof and the class extSecClass. These users will now be allowed to update the rule status and auto-enabled settings. MTC-A uses the extSecPrefix and extSecClass parameters from the Ops MVS subsystem the user is attempting to update. The default for the SAF resource extSecPrefix is ops$MVS. The default for the SAF resource class extSecClass depends upon which security software you are running. The default setting for RACF is Facility. The default setting for ACF2 is FAC. The default setting for Top Secret is IBM FAC. The authorization is checked against the appropriate system defined by your federated security configuration or the ESM microservice topology. Refer to the Configure MTC-A Federated Security topic in the Ops MVS 14.0 documentation for more information about federated security. As mentioned earlier, the feature allows the user to change the rule status to enabled or disabled, which determines if the rule is eligible for invocation. It also allows the auto-enabled setting to be set to yes or no and determines if a rule will automatically be enabled when the Ops MVS subsystem starts. It is important to note that only one of these settings can be changed at a time. If a user has the proper permissions, they will have drop-down menus for rule status and auto-enabled settings above the rule details window. Otherwise, there will be no drop-downs for these fields. This feature is part of the Rule Manager. After selecting the Ops MVS subsystem, rule set and rule, you will be presented with the drop-downs in the rule details window if you are authorized. When the window first appears, the value in the status and auto-enable fields is the current setting. By clicking on the drop-down arrow on either of these fields, you will be presented with the appropriate values to select from. Again, only one field can be updated at a time. Once a user selects a value from either of the drop-down menus, then two new buttons appear at the top of the window: Reset and Submit Changes. The Reset button will undo the user's selection. The Submit Changes button will take the user selection and make the update on the specific Ops MVS subsystem. After you select Submit Changes, you will receive either a success or error message as outlined in the screen captures displayed here. In this video about updating rule status and auto-enabled settings, we presented an overview of the feature, the business need and the solutions delivered to meet this need, the PTF requirements for this feature, and the operations of this feature. This feature enables authorized users to update a rule's status and auto-enable setting from the Rule Details window. Only one of these fields may be updated at a time. An authorization is determined by your federated security setup. For more detailed information about Ops MVS and the MTC-A component, go to the following URL for the product page. Here, you can access information on product documentation, support, communities, and learning paths.